this morning, and like I had said, we are going to, or like I have put under the chat, sorry, our topic of discussion today is why we all need conflict resolution skills. So basically what I'm asking, what I thought we should talk about is why should everyone just, acquire this skill to resolve conflict, to solve problems, if I could say. Why is it important that everyone is able to some extent to just be able to solve conflict when they arise? So personally, I wanted to introduce this topic by saying that, of course, as human beings and how different we are and how different people will meet from different cultures, traditions, we will never avoid conflict. And this does not necessarily mean problems or fights, or, it could just be a conflict of due to just some misunderstanding or just difference in point of views or opinions. So whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's, I don't know, at church, in the market, or just around the community where you live, you'll always meet people, new people that you do not know, people that you have never met, people who are definitely different, because we can never be the same. Even when you come from the same household, you'll never be the same as the next person, in your household. So of course, because we are ever interacting with each other as human beings, we are social beings, as I keep saying. So in one way or another, always you'll find yourself interacting with different people. And just because of that difference, we cannot avoid conflict. Yeah. And so why that's just, I think, one major reason why I think we should have these skills. And another thing is that, of course, conflict resolution does not mean you just address the misunderstanding or miscommunication, or just differences that have come up, but it also means that you get an opportunity to actually learn from the next person. When you're able to resolve a conflict, maybe when you're able to clarify on something, because probably it has come different from what like whatever you're used to. Now you're being presented with some more or less strange maybe approach or strategy or just manners. You're able to actually sit down and be accommodative, if I could say, because then that brings you to being a patient person who is able to just relax and calm down and listen to the next person. Because I think this helps to just be accommodative, basically, because you'll not be fast to defend yourself, or fast to prove yourself, or fast to respond. But then you are able to actually sit down and sit back and just try to understand where the person or whatever is happening is coming from, what is the reason behind it. When you have this conflict resolution skill, you're able to actually sit in a neutral space, if I could say, to listen to all perspective that are being presented to you without a judgment in the first place. Yeah, I think that's just another way that conflict resolution helps all of us to just accept and understand, and always being understanding, able to listen to what is being communicated to you, or to understand the person that is, just in front of you, just to know where they're coming from, what is their belief, what is, where do they fetch whatever they are talking to you about from, instead of running to fight mode, if I could say, a fight mode where you just want to put your opinion across and want to impose it on the next person. But then you're able really to just, listen first, understand first before you can react. So those are just, I think, a few of my reasons why I think conflict resolution skill is important. And then again, of course, like I said, we will most likely face conflict in one way or another, wherever we are. It could be just in our own homes, in our own communities, families, or with friends. This is just unavoidable. I think it's just something that will happen sooner or later, in one way or another. And so, because it's not every time that there's conflict that we can conclude that things are bad or things are not working. Not because you're facing conflict, it doesn't mean that then you are not, things just are messed up, or they should be stopped, or you should put an end to it. I'll give an example of probably, like, let's say even at work, facing a conflict does not necessarily mean that maybe you're not liked or you're not appreciated by the person or the colleague or the boss or whatever, wherever the conflict is coming from. Or it's not really that they do not appreciate you or they do not approve of you or of your work or whatever it is that is causing the conflict. It could just be an opportunity really for you to identify a gap, probably, identify a gap that is there that you could improve on, or actually an opportunity for you to learn something new from, wherever the conflict is coming from, because the conflict could be caused by just probably, a difference in perspective, as I said, or opinions or point of views. It could be that the way you did something is not really how it's supposed to be done, or actually there's another way that you could do it, not because you didn't do it well, but because probably there's a better way, another better way how you could go on about it, and that is trying to be communicated to you. Someone is trying to just show you that actually there's something else you could have done or something additional you could have done. And when you have this in you, this skill to just know that every conflict is not, it's not an opportunity to fight, and it's not really, it doesn't mean they are rejecting you or they are not approving of you. Then you are able to actually seize that opportunity, either to learn or to improve or identify a gap that could be there. In your personal relationships, it could just be that there's something maybe that is not well that you need to learn about. Maybe you're not being a good friend, maybe you're not being a good team player, or you're not, it could just be that there's something that you need to improve on, just something for you to just pick and actually learn from and improve yourself in the process. So I think that's how it is, and it helps to maintain relationships in the long term, because not every conflict that arises should be an opportunity for you to break relationships, or to stop, or let me just say break relationships, if I could say, because then you're going to break all the relationships with the people, everyone, because then you'll never, I don't think you'll ever 100% be in agreement with everyone. In one way or another, you'll always have some areas of conflicts where there's just a difference in opinions. And so when you face conflict, doesn't mean that you should always break the relations that you have because of a conflict. But when you're able to resolve conflicts, I think it's just an opportunity for you to understand the people around you well, to communicate better, to know them actually better as well. I think it's a way to also know them even on a deeper level. And I think when you know people, when you know someone, when you understand someone's culture, when you are able to also, when you are flexible enough to welcome people's ideas or perspectives, to listen actually, because then you're able to really listen and understand them and know where they're coming from. Then you know them well, you know them better. I think that's really a great way to strengthen relationships, because then you can be sure that you know the people well, probably what does not work for them or what works for them, or how to avoid conflict in the future, or how to address them in the future just in case of conflict. You know how to resolve a conflict if it arises in the future again. So this, I think, helps us to keep those relationships going. And just like I said at the beginning, as social human being, you are social, and we are interdependent. We count on each other, knowingly or unknowingly, and you can be confident enough to come back to someone even when you had faced some conflicting situation with them, with confidence, because the way you addressed it was a very courteous, if I could say. It wasn't messy, it wasn't disrespectful. You understood the person, you respected them in the process, of resolving whatever conflict is there. You prove to them that you give them the values they have, you understand and appreciate them as they are. And that's, I think it's quite important for each and every one of us. And so, yeah, I think that's just what I wanted to say today. How I think conflict resolution is quite an important thing, and a really important skill for every one of us to to just acquire, because I know we are all different. Definitely, we are all different. We have, um, starting from our personalities. Of course, there are personalities that do not just, tolerate any anything. If I could say, they're not quite patient. They're just always on fight mode. They are very fast to defend themselves, and I know this can just come from a character. Just the personality you have, and it can make it, of course, difficult for you to learn some other skills over others. Depending on your personality, you're able to really embrace some skills more than the others. And so, yeah, I thought it can be difficult, but it is quite important, really, because it is part of us, of our daily lives, every day, in whatever we do, whether it's at work, whether it's just in your own personal life. Wherever you go, you are going to interact with people, you're going to meet people, and not just people that you know. Actually, most times you will meet people that you do not know, that you do not understand, that are really different, that come from all over the world, all over the place. You can even be in the same country, but it does not guarantee you that you'll meet people who think like you, people who know what you know, people who understand things the way you do, people who have faced the same things as you. That's not probably, it's not very probable, I think. It's going to be a smallest percentage of your life, really. And so that's why I thought it was important for us to talk about this, because then it's quite, I believe it's quite important for us and every one of us here to just learn how to resolve conflict, to how to address, any situation that is quite conflicting, and I thought maybe we can share on that today. Everyone maybe anyone can give us their opinion on why do they think it's important to resolve conflict, to be able to resolve conflict. Why is it important to have a skill in conflict resolution or problem solving? Yeah, so yeah, please feel free to come in and tell us what you think about this.
Hi everyone. Hi. Good morning.
Hi.
Sorry, I have my camera off. My network is a little not working good, so I have to have it off. And also, Arlet, if you can send the topic again, because I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Yes. I've
So,
just done that.
yeah, thank you. So about conflict resolution, actually, I was thinking, and I think there are some reasons that conflict when a conflict happen, I think we have two types of conflict. Sometimes in a workplace, when a conflict happen, it's personal, for example, between two people, two individual. They have something, they don't have something in common, or they have different ideas, so it may cause a conflict between two person. So it's kind of a something personally. I don't mean a personal subject, but it's because of the difference between people's ideas or things like that. And sometimes it's something like a task related, or a decision that is made, for example, from the leader, or I don't know, a performance of a team member or a leader that cause a conflict. So, and I think this all happens when the responsible. Sometimes I think when the responsibilities are unclear, maybe some, for example, team members may feel that they are working more than others, or I don't know, some people have fewer responsibilities. It may cause conflict, or sometimes the competition between the staff, between people cause the conflict, or different interests. And sometimes people may focus on a personal goal and over the organization goal, so it may cause a conflict. So I think it's important to resolve this conflict, and conflict resolution is important because it affects directly in the productivity of team members, the dynamic of the team. It affects the work environment. When you're not working in a positive and healthy environment, it affects your productivity. You don't feel like going to work when the environment is not okay. It's negative vibe everywhere. So it's really important to resolve these conflicts and make a positive environment a healthy environment. And I think one of the important thing is that to raise the issue that is causing the conflict for you early. When something irritates you, when something is in your mind that you think that it's kind of a conflict, you have problem with it. It's good to talk about it early, not wait and um, don't be shy. I don't know, don't uh, maybe you are afraid to make that approach to, I don't know, say that you have problem with something in the workplace. But I think it's important to talk even if you have a problem with your colleague and something cause a conflict, or you have a problem with, I don't know, a decision that your the leader, your boss made. I think it's good to raise that issue early, not just wait, and it will be a big, after a while it will be something big for you that it stops you from working, or it stops you from being productive. And also, I think a tip is that to always manage your emotions, because sometimes when you when the emotion gets the control of you, you feel angry, or you feel really, really, sad and irritated. You might say something that are inappropriate, or it's uh, you cannot take it back. So you have to always stay calm when you want to express your problem, the issue that happened. It's important to stay calm and always make sure that when there is a conflict happening, it's the both side that are having conflict. I think both sides have some part in that problem. It's you have to acknowledge that it's not, when you have problem with someone, it's not on completely their fault. It's important to understand that when two people have a conflict, have a problem, the responsibility is for both sides. So you have a part on that problem, and you have to acknowledge that if you don't do that, the other party will be disappointed. Maybe they won't listen to you, and it causes the conflict to be even bigger. So I think it's important to listen, to manage your stress and talk about it, and acknowledge that you have a part in the problem that has happened. So, and I think, yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Thank you for this topic.
Thank you so much, Sepide, for that. That's a great contribution there, and I really appreciate the fact that it's really important to just know how to control our emotions, because sometimes we speak out of anger and emotions and feelings, that we speak things that are not good and that we cannot take back, and which makes things even worse actually in the process. If it was a small issue that could just be resolved very fast, but because we could not control ourselves or just calm down and try to speak, with kindness, if I could say, we make things even worse. That's why it's important to just learn to identify a conflict and the cause of it, the source of it, as Epide said. Sometimes it's just a problem of miscommunication, not understanding your responsibilities. Maybe they were not quite clear enough maybe they did not define them well to you, and now there's a conflict because probably you didn't do what was expected of you. And then she also said that, sometimes it's just a conflict between personal goals and company goals. Everyone, of course, has their own goals and ambitions. We are all here under Moracle. Of course, we are all working under Moracle, but everyone, of course, has their personal objectives and goals in life that they're trying to push and achieve in the process. And so sometimes that can just be a source of the conflict, because probably whatever you're doing here and whatever you're aspiring to do not really match, and that can just be a really simple, understandable cause of conflict. And so understanding that in the first place, just sitting down to understand where is the source of this conflict. Why are we not aligning probably with my colleague or my boss or myself, because it can be a personal just conflict, internal conflicts. It doesn't have to be shared. It can just be internal conflicts. And so it's just really important to just sit down and understand actually why are things not settled? Why am I confused? What is causing this confusion? When you understand the source of that conflict, whether internal, personal, or shared, or, you're able to really address it in that way. And especially, I think, being able to control our emotions will help us to solve conflicts even more faster and easier, and really quickly, because then you have not complicated the matters with, bad words or bad, negative, unkind feedback and criticism just because of a small issue that could be resolved very fast. So I think really it's just a matter of valuing and identifying what really matters to you more, because I think relationships matter more in life than everything else. Having a community, whether at work or wherever you go, that you can count on, that understands you, that you also understand, that you can count on for support, for help, for guidance, for mentorship. I think that's really matters in life. And so because of that already is just a reason for you to know how to live with people. And by knowing how to live with people, that means you should also know how to resolve conflicts. That's why it's really important to know how to resolve conflict when they arise, and to maintain this stability in whatever relationships you have, whether at work or in your personal lives. So thank you so much for that, Sepide. I want to welcome maybe one or two more people before we close our session this morning. Please feel free to also contribute. I will share the topic again in the chat for those who have not seen it yet. Today we are talking about the importance of conflict resolution, having the conflict resolution skill, how important it is, why is it important? So please welcome. Anyone, feel free, please come in. Yes, hi Ritika. I think your volume is low. I don't know if it's me only.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hear you now.
Hello, everyone. Yeah. So for me personally, I think why we all need like conflict resolution skills. First of all, we need to like consider like why the resolution conflict is there in the first place. I think the one of the main reasons for the conflict generally is like lack of communication. Like if you are not able to communicate clearly, like what do you mean and what do you want, so other person might misinterpret that thing, and there will be a conflict. So I think that's the main reason. So to like avoid conflicts, or to like uh, avoid conflicts, we need to ensure that like we communicate our mind and communicate our thoughts very properly and in an effective way. So effective communication is one of the way. And also when we get into a conflict, when we get into something in kind of conflict things, we try to like don't respond to that thing spontaneously. Like we might be like at that time we might get emotional and try say things we don't mean those things. So in that moment we just try to keep our emotions within ourselves and just think over it for a day or two, and after that we can reply like did you mean this thing, or like you can ask them what do that they mean by that thing, or like did you like did you misunderstood that thing, or that person really meant that. So that way they can communicate later on and like try to resolve that thing. Also, I think, yeah, also like if we don't resolve the conflicts like quickly and let them just ignore them, so that will also like lead to like more stress in the like people or colleagues wherever you are working, not only in your professional life, in personal life as well. So if you like ignore those conflicts and don't try to resolve that, that will lead to more stress. So and that then more stress will also like lead to more conflicts and more misunderstandings among the people. So it's better to like communicate them and don't try to get emotional when you are like resolving your conflicts. Think logically and don't try to like let your emotions come in between. That way we can like resolve our conflicts and things. Also, I think, uh, yeah, sometimes there may be like problems, like there would be difference between company goals and your personal goals as well, like you mentioned earlier. Like sometimes we might want to achieve some other things, but by the other person might want to have achieve other things, and they might have some other goals in their mind, like from the same on project you are working on. So it's better like if before starting that project on, like if you are feeling the conflicts are raising again and again, so you can like communicate with them, and if you communicate your goals and they communicate their goals, and after like communicating and discussing, you guys can come on the same page and like avoid those conflicts which might occur in the future as well. So I think these communication conflict resolution skills are really necessary, especially in the workplace when like we are working remote and like people are from different background cultures. So there is a high chance like whatever we are communicating, the other person might misunderstood because of difference, culture differences. So I think those skills are really important to have. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add. Thank you.
Mhm. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ritika, for that. Yes. And of course, yes. I mean, just like we have, I think all of us have come to that common understanding that we are all different. We are coming from different cultures, from different traditions. We have different understanding, different ways that we do things, different ways, approaches that we use to life, basically about everything and anything, you know. So of course, that's already very obvious, I could say, you know, for everyone to just know that we are already different just because of that, yeah. And then again, you'll never find a person who is exactly like you, someone who thinks exactly like you, someone who understands things exactly like you, who behaves. It's just really, really impossible, I think, at least for me, that's what I believe. And so that already puts us in a position that we are going to face conflicts in one way or another, whether we like it or not. No matter how much we try to avoid it, it's going to happen. And I think the second thing to know is just to know that conflict is not necessarily something to fight. It's not necessarily something negative, you know. It could just be because of these many aspects, you know, the difference in our cultures and all that. It could just be an opportunity for us to learn more about how other people do whatever they do, you know. It could just be an opportunity for us to also learn something and develop ourselves in the process. So having conflict resolution skills, I think, becomes really important in that manner, because then it's an opportunity for us to grow, you know. It's an opportunity for us to know how to relate to people, to know how to, you know, to respect people and their beliefs and their you know, their religion, their whatever they believe in, you know. Just know that we are different, that we have different beliefs, we have different understanding and manners and personalities or characters. Just understanding that and accepting it, because of course you do not have to impose your way of thinking on other people. Just because you think that's the right way for you, then everyone should adopt it. That's quite impossible. It's not going to happen. And if we come to that understanding, I think it's already a step towards resolving any possible conflict. Just being accommodative, understanding, and acceptable. You know, I mean, accepting people as they are. Just accept that you are different, we are different. And so that's already, I think, a way for us to just know how to address conflict. So I think we are going to end our discussion here. Thank you so much, everyone, for your contribution and for listening in. Thank you for making it on time to today's discussion. And I'll just wish all of us a good day and a good weekend. And I hope you have a good weekend, and see you next week if we do not meet again during the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ale.